Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Sri Tips here, and what I'm going to do today, I've got some gold here in solution that I've refined. I quartered it with silver and then refined it with aqua regia, and I've got some ice down in here. The ice is made from distilled water to make sure that we keep the heat down. So here we go. We're going to add the gold to this large 2-liter beaker. This is about 3 troy ounces here. I've been very busy getting my taxes done. Here's some sodium metabisulfite. I've been trying to get caught up with all my stuff here. Here goes the first spoon of sodium metabisulfite. All right, here we go. We're going to add another spoon of sodium metabisulfite going in right now. Spoon number 3. It's probably going to take 6 to 8 spoons of the SMB in order to get all this gold to precipitate out. Okay, very quickly, I'm trying to get caught up here with everything that I have to do. When I'm working on my refining videos, everything else just kind of gets put on hold. All my housework, all my other refining tasks, my shop, cleanliness, all that stuff just kind of goes by the wayside. So what I have to do is put up the video camera and try to get some of this stuff caught up. I've got some more videos planned coming up soon. I think I've got enough SMB in there now. You can see down at the bottom of the beaker that we've got a nice quantity of gold built up down there. That's going to be about 3 troy ounces. And I wanted to do this video. Mrs. Sri Tips wants me to sell some more gold-plated stuff. She wanted me to make a video of it. And I've also got some more fine gold stuff that I'm going to be selling. But I knew it wouldn't be wise after all this time to put some videos out of stuff for sale without showing some of the refining that I do. So I figured I'd put this into the video. Here's a shot of the electrolytic silver cell. You can see I'm getting low on the feedstock. This is the impure 99% silver shot that I feed into the top of the silver cell here. I'll be making some more of these anode filter bars here, or anode electrode bars for the silver cell, and putting them up for sale. Okay, what we have here is about 2 kilos of pure silver crystal from my silver cell from the last clean out that I did. Just goes to show you, when I get behind, I'm only a one-man show, and when I get behind, it takes a while for me to get caught up. That's why I haven't produced any videos here recently. But if you look in there, there's another load of pure silver crystal that's ready to come out of the silver cell there. I need to get that moving. And also, what I need to do is I'm going to make a furnace, a larger furnace, out of some ceramic wool in a 3-kilogram crucible. I got my friend Matt to fabricate a set of crucible tongs so that I can do a large melt of silver. And that video will be coming up real soon because I'm getting low on my shot here. All right, let's see if we get our head of white foam. That's what I'm looking for. That tells me that all the gold has been precipitated now. And what we'll do is let this settle out. And then we'll collect it into a crucible and melt it up into a bar. What I have here is a collection of gold-plated jewelry material, and Mrs. Three Tips has been asking me to make up a batch and get this listed on my eBay store for sale. Here's a closer look at some of that material. It's all gold-plated material. It can be stripped using a sulfuric acid stripping cell. I've got a video in my collection of videos on my channel that shows how to do that. And also I wanted to show, look at this monster. This thing is awesome. This is a 24 centimeter Buckner funnel sent in by one of my viewers as a donation. Thanks to him. His name is Chris. These are little gold bars that I did in a previous video. Little loaf there with my name stamped on it, Three Tips. So I'll be listing that for sale on my eBay store. Here's the man's ring that I'll be selling. It's got a nice 1/10 carat diamond in it. Very nice piece. Brand new looking. All the scratches are buffed out. So we'll have that on the eBay store. Here's a lady's ring with a marquee diamond, about 1/3 of a carat there, with some baguette diamonds in it. Probably about 1 carat total weight for everything. We'll be offering that for sale. There's nothing in here that's highly valuable that I know of. I've been through all this, but all of the gold-filled watches and the gold watches and stuff like that have been removed from this. But I'll make up a medium flat rate box full of these watches, and we'll get that listed on the eBay store as well. I've got another batch of gold here. Melt dish. I'm going to add the 10K gold to this melt dish. And that is 85.7 grams. Now we're going to add the 14K to it, if we can fit it all in here. $135.1. And now we're going to add the 18K to it. $10.4. 85.7 times 0.635. We need 54 grams of silver for the 10K. 135.1 times 1.265. We need 170 grams for the 14K. And then we got 10.4 times 1.9 equals. We need 19, say 20 grams for the 18K. For this amount of carat gold, I've calculated that I need 244 grams of sterling silver to do the inquartation. I've got 242.9 grams. It's close enough. So now we're going to go out and melt this up and quart this gold with this silver. And we're going to start adding the silver. I'm going to stir the metal up with a graphite rod. Into this large tub of water. Here we go. Here we go. Here's our quartered gold now, ready to be treated with hot dilute nitric acid. The water out of here now. The quartered gold looks real good. It's got a nice, beautiful color to it. Transfer it into this beaker now, carefully. Here's our lovely and quartered gold. Gonna rinse it off now to get all the tap water rinsed off. Just got some distilled water here. Give it a couple quick distilled water rinses. All right, here's the pure gold from our first refining. We got to get that out of there later on. Set it off to the side. Here's the quartered gold that we just freshly quartered with silver. I've got some used dilute nitric acid from a previous refining, from this one actually. We're going to add that on top of the quartered gold here and start pulling the silver and the base metals out of this quartered gold now. I'm going to add some more water, distilled water here. I'm going to add a fresh shot of concentrated nitric. This is 68 to 70% concentrated nitric acid. I burnt some pieces of silver here. I'm going to transfer these into this silver jar. The blue liquid up here will have excess nitric and it will be loaded with silver. I'm going to transfer the blue liquid now into my silver jar. That excess nitrate that's in this blue liquid that I'm pouring off will get consumed by the silver that I just poured or burnt and added to this silver jar. I'm going to add some distilled water to the unquarted gold. Now I'm going to add some more nitric acid to this. We're going to set it up on the heat and continue to remove the silver and the base metals with these hot dilute nitric treatments. Hot dilute nitric acid treatment number 2. Second nitric acid boil is complete. It's been on there boiling now for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're going to pour this off now into our silver jar that's full of sterling silver pieces here. This blue liquid's going to have a little bit more free nitric acid in it than that first nitric acid boil. So you're going to see a lot more fume production here. All right, our gold granules are looking good here. Okay, here we go with nitric boil number 3. Trick is to get this solution to become colorless after it's been on boiling. The blue color means we still have copper, and if we still have copper, it's safe to conclude that we probably still have some silver left in here. We'll put this up and continue to let it boil. Boil number 3. Hot dilute nitric boil number 3 is complete. What we're going to do now is try to pour off this blue liquid into the silver jar. It's going to have a ton of free nitric in it. I can't pour too much in here or I'll cause this silver jar to boil over. So I'm going to pour a little bit of it into the silver jar here. And that's as much as I dare go. You can see the foam is starting to rise up here from the hot acid contacting that sterling silver that's in there. So I'm going to pour the rest of this hot nitric down here into a separate container and keep it for a future refining. Here's a look at the gold. Looks pretty good. I'm going to rinse it off with some distilled water. I'll add these distilled water rinses to the silver jar here. Try to get all that blue liquid rinsed off of the gold here. That should do it. Okay, here we go with the 4th nitric acid boil. Notice that the solution stays nice and clear when I pour the water in there. Colorless, no blue color to it. That's what we want to see. That's what we're striving for with these nitric acid boils. We'll cover this back up now and put this back up on the heat and do our 4th nitric acid boil. Nitric boil number 4. What we're going to do is pour some of the used nitric. See how it's blue in color? That's an indication that we still got copper and therefore probably some silver left in here. I'm just going to pour a portion of it into the silver jar and allow that to consume the pieces of sterling silver in there. And the rest we're going to put into this used nitric bottle, and we'll use this in a future refining. Add the rinse water to our silver jar here. It'll probably have a little bit of nitric acid with it still. A little bit of silver. Here's a look at the gold. It's looking very nice. Still see a little bit of blue tint in there. I need to rinse it a little bit better here. The more silver and copper that we get out of the gold here, the easier the refining will be later. The longer we spend under the nitric acid boil, the easier the refining will be later on. Here's a look at the quarted gold. All the silver, all the copper's been removed. But we're going to do one more nitric acid boil here. Add some distilled water. We're going to add some more nitric acid and put it back up on the heat. And let this boil. This is a 5th nitric acid boil. This is our 5th and final nitric acid boil. You'll notice that the color of the liquid in there is nearly colorless. Might have a slight tint of yellow to it, meaning we may have put a little bit of gold in solution. We're going to pour this off now into our temporary nitric acid storage container. Now what we'll do is add some hydrochloric acid to the gold, and we're going to begin to dissolve the gold. There's going to be a little bit of residual nitric acid in here, and so you'll see it begin to react immediately as soon as I pour that hydrochloric acid in there to precipitate out any lead that may be present. It's about 1.5 milliliters of sulfuric acid. We've got about I think 3.5 trillion ounces of gold to dissolve. So I'm going to start out by adding about 7 3 milliliter doses of concentrated nitric acid here. Alright, the gold looks very good here. The solution is looking good. Put it up on the heat and let this dissolve now. adding some ice. The ice is made from distilled water this time. This will dilute the solution, reduce or increase the pH rather, bring the pH up, and cause any silver chloride that might be in solution to come out of solution so we can filter it out. I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water here to increase the volume and bring the pH up a little bit more. I'm going to filter the solution through a number 2 filter paper. See if we can get some of that cloudiness out of the solution. Here we go. Okay, now that the filter is loaded up, what we'll do is pour the solution back through the same filter a second time and see if we can get rid of some more of the cloudiness that's in this solution. Here we go. We're going to pour it back to the same filter a second time. One quick note while I'm waiting for this to filter. If you notice these two flasks, they're both 1 liter filter flask with a sidearm on them. But if you'll notice up at the top there, this one here on my right has an extra large lip on it, and this one has a small lip on it. And you'll want to look for flasks that have the larger lip like this right here, because what'll happen is if you get one with a small lip like this here on my left, when you go to pour it, the drip of liquid will tend to run down the side of the flask, and each drop of liquid out of here contains gold. With this larger lip, the drip will tend to stay there and you can rinse it off easily, and then it won't run down the side of the flask. Just wanted to point out the difference of the lips on these two 1 liter filter flasks. That second pass through the filter cleaned the gold up nicely. Now we're going to take our filter off here, get it out of the way. That's what it looks like in there. I've got a large beaker here with some ice in it. We'll transfer our solution into the beaker. See how it cleared up real nice there with that second pass through the filter. Right here is where it becomes critical to have that lip on the flask. You gotta tilt the flask back to rinse it out real good here with some water. And when you do, if there's any gold left on this lip, it'll run down the side of the flask. So if you got that little lip there, you can rinse it off like that and nothing will be lost. Here we go. We're going to precipitate this gold now with some sodium metabisulfite. I'm going to put 2 or 3 spoons in right off the bat here to get this going. 1, 2, 3. It's important to test your solution to make sure that you've got gold in solution before you try to precipitate. Black stain tells me I've got gold in solution. A lot of people have been messaging me and in the comment section saying I put in the SMB and I don't get any gold. The sad fact is there was probably no gold in solution to begin with, so it's important to test the solution before you add the sodium metabisulfite to try to precipitate it out. Alright, let's keep going with the sodium metabisulfite. I'm I'm going to put in a few more spoons here, get the rest of this gold to come out of solution. I can usually tell when I've got it all precipitated when I start to see a head of foam on top of the gold when I add the sodium metabisulfite. I'm starting to see the foam that I'm looking for. It tells me that I've got everything precipitated. There we go. That tells me all the gold has come out of solution now. Is I'm going to dip a piece of filter paper in and do another stannous test. Shouldn't have any reaction here. As you can see by that negative stannous test, that means I've got all of the gold precipitated out of this solution. Let this one settle. Bring this one up here. And once this settles, we'll pour off the waste solutions here, gather up the gold powder from both of these, and melt them into a bar. The solution is settled now. What we're going to do is pour off the waste solution into this temporary waste container just to get this liquid off of our gold. Here we go. Pour the waste out of here into our temporary container. Now what we'll do is get our big beaker, bring it down here. We're going to try to pour this solution, or this gold, out of this small beaker in with trying to get it loosened up so I don't spatter the gold as I pour it. There it goes. Thank you. Now we got both charges of gold powder down into this single beaker. Okay, I've got a large 10-liter container here. And what we're going to do is begin by rinsing the gold here with some hydrochloric acid, small hydrochloric acid rinses, to get the chemicals off our gold, get this stuff loosened up so we can get it rinsed off real well. A little bit of the gold will go over with the rinse, but that's okay. I'll recover it later out of this large temporary waste container. I'm going to put some hydrochloric acid in here on the gold now. Got all the chemicals rinsed off. It settles quickly. And what we'll do, cover this up and set it up on some heat and let this boil. Rinse all the hydrochloric acid off of here with some distilled water rinses. Like I said, if a little bit of the gold pours over into this waste container, it's not a problem because I can get the gold back out of this container later on. It's like a savings account for me. Here's the gold. Try to get it in this melt dish now. Get it over on the melt table. Let's see if we can melt this up into a nice gold bar. Should have about 6 or 7 troy ounces of gold in here. Let's take it over here to our melt table, and we'll go ahead and put some flame on it. Once we adjust the height of this torch, we got it right now. Let's get some flame on this and start this melt. Let's take a look at this thing, see how it turned out. I don't expect it to be ultra high purity. It's got a little bit of surface contamination there. Let's take and get it into our water and get it cooled off. There's nice pore lines. Doesn't have a real pretty bright finish like I'm used to seeing when I get high purity gold. Here we go. There's our bar. Came out looking pretty good. It's probably 99.5%. This is going into the big refiner that I deal with. So I wasn't worried about getting it ultra high purity. The first precipitation at the beginning of the video, I was expecting a yield of 94 grams. The precipitation from the second batch that I quartered and refined in this video, I was expecting a yield of 122.2 grams for a grand total of 216.2 grams. And the actual yield here is going to be 226.7, more than 10 grams more than I anticipated. That's not going to be that far off. I had some pure gold that I put in with the 18K scrap, and I had some other stuff that wasn't marked. I just threw it in with the 10K. It might have been 14, so that's what threw the yield off. I'm not concerned about it. I got 10 more grams than I was anticipating, so we'll take it. Okay, this will conclude the video. Thanks for watching.